Rockies on the KOA Rockies radio network. And I probably don't have to introduce the guy on the screen with me because everybody knows the best third baseman in baseball, Rockies third baseman Nolan Arenado. And Nolan, just how I know you, and it's probably similar to everybody involved in this game, it has been so crazy waiting out something that you've done as a routine for so long. To be in something different has to be a killer.
Yeah, it has been, man. Well, first of all, it's good to see you, and it has been weird. It's been an adjustment, I think, for everyone, not just me. I'm fortunate that I could work out and I have a place here to get better and work and stuff. So that's always been nice. But it is. We're routine oriented. Most baseball players are routine oriented. You have to be, and most athletes are. And to just kind of be told that you're going to be out of your routine for a while, and this is just what it is, and you're going to have to find a way to adjust, was tough in the beginning. Now I'm getting used to it, unfortunately. But it's making the days go by quick, which has been nice. But at the same time, I don't want the days to go by quick because that just means we're losing the season one day at a time. But it's been nice to know that I've been enjoying my work. I've been focusing on the positives and focusing on just getting better and how can this make me a better baseball player. And it's actually been better than what it was when I first got home, when I was a little more down on myself.
In that process, Nolan, I think it's interesting because it goes both ways in that because you're not playing right now, the wear and tear that a baseball season has, your body's better for it. But at the same time, the calendar keeps moving, like you said, and you realize here we are the last couple of days of April, and we should be playing baseball. We expect to be playing baseball, and you're not. And so when it does start up this year, it's going to be a new experience. Fortunately for everybody, but a new experience, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be weird. I mean, when baseball starts, you're gonna get that feeling of I know this feeling, I know this feeling of being with the boys, and this is the feeling you want. But at the same time, it's gonna be weird. The games it's not gonna be as many games probably. If that's gonna be weird. I've seen some different things thrown out, how there's gonna be 10 teams in a division instead of and it's just kind of weird. You're like, man, this is crazy times. What a weird. But we got to embrace it. It's going to be a challenge, and it's something that we're going to have to just be ready to go. And, I know a lot of guys are training and getting ready, which is great, but it's definitely something that's going to throw a lot of people off.
We'll talk about, some of the potential ideas for when the season can resume. But among the many questions that we had from season ticket holders, Eric Brown, longtime season ticket holder, for example, from Loch Bowie, wanted to know, what has the routine been like? Walk us through, if you can, a little bit, sort of a typical day for you during this quarantine.
Yeah. So I'm on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday on, and every Monday I'm lifting 3 days a week and running 3 days a week. I've been on Mondays, it's just hitting, cage work and lifting. Tuesdays running, ground balls, hitting on a field. Hopefully, if we can find a field. We've been kicked out of a few fields already. I got literally kicked out of my own high school not that long ago, and my number's on the board on the wall there.
Yeah, you should have said, "Hey, I have a right to be here, don't I?" Come on.
Yeah, I know. The security lady knows who I was when I was a kid in high school, but she's just like, I can't, I can't let people around. So I get it, but it was kind of funny to get kicked out of my own high school. But just every day we're challenged up with the machine. We're hitting every day. We're just trying to find ways to get better, and it's actually been nice. I got my brother, I got my cousin Josh, who's with me, a buddy named Trace, and we just us four every day, and that's it. We're not really allowing a whole lot of people around us because we don't really want to do that. Those guys I could really trust on what they're doing this off season. I know that they're just going home also like me, and we're playing video games and we're just working out, and so it's been good. It's just been a little different.
One of the things I know you like to do, talking about your gang, if you will, your brother and your cousin and Trace and the like, you have that great off-season tradition of the crazy wiffle ball games.
Oh yeah.
Are those still going on, or do you put those off because it might get out of your tempo, if you will?
No, for sure. Every Sunday we're playing a big old 7-game series, but every game is a 3-game series. So if you win the 3-game series, it counts as one game. We've been doing it every Sunday, and it's actually been really nice. It's actually something to look forward to. The competition, it gets feisty out there. We've had some good arguments. We've had some bad losses, some good wins, and stuff like that. But we're taking it all pretty serious. Everyone's looking forward to Sunday because it's something to like play, and it's actually been really fun. But yeah, we're definitely still doing that. We're definitely staying active and being.
There was a great piece of video of you and Josh with a machine that feeds you ground balls at the warehouse that you work at sometimes. That was hilarious to watch the two of you guys diving and getting hit. It was like a comedy routine. There we go.
Sorry, my bad. I don't know what happened there. You hear me?
Yes, I got you. I got you now. I think we're okay. You have me all right?
Okay. Yeah. We're good. I think maybe the Wi-Fi got a little messed up. But we've been the machine's been a big help to us. We've been hitting off it, spin rate fastballs. It's kind of what it does, and it's been really good for us just to challenge ourselves.
Let's talk about because like I said, the fans have a lot of questions, and one of the obvious things we've been talking about potential ways for getting the season going. Raylene Crump from North Glen, a season ticket holder, wanted to know what it's going to be like for you guys if the start of the year, maybe even in the whole season, has to be played without fans in the stands.
Yeah. Well, that's something that, when I first heard that, it was kind of like, I don't, where are we going to find that motivation, because it's like you feed off the fans, you feed off that motivation of knowing that people are going to be in the stands, so you want to do something for them. So that will be an adjustment. The more this goes on, the more I'm like, I just want to play baseball. If there's fans, no fans, I just want to make sure I get out there. But I think that will be another, this whole year it's been adjustments constantly. And I think that's just going to be another huge adjustment, being on the being in the field and like not hearing anybody, not hearing the fans. I think that's going to be a major adjustment because I think you feed off that, you feed off the energy of them, and it's going to be tough. But, this is something unprecedented times, and it is what it's going to be. And, we might need to be careful what we say. If we get out, you might want to you might hear me yell a few times. So I might need but yeah, we definitely got to be careful because the fans, them not being there, it's just going to be weird. But, I don't know. It's hard to even picture it without it. I just think about the minor leagues on the backfield is kind of what I think about. And those are tough times back there. So it's not going to be easy, but it's another adjustment we're going to have to make.
You talk about being able to be heard because the fans won't be in the stands. We've been talking about the fact that you guys will be able to hear us if we're broadcasting the game. Yeah. If you don't like what we say, you may start firing up the foul balls into the booth,
Yeah, you might say that was not a call. You might say that's not a quality of that, Nolan. I might be like, come on, Jack, man, this guy's nasty.
Yeah, exactly. Talking about making adjustments and understanding these unprecedented times, you've done a lot out front and also behind the scenes. You and Trev and Murph were involved with so many other big league players and helping provide meals for people who need it. I know you've done some some video messaging to, the seniors in the high schools around here in Denver who are missing out on their senior seasons or prom or graduation. There has to be a connection. You've had something important taken away from you, at least at this amount of time. So you understand what those young people are going through.
Yeah. I want to say I do. Honestly, I think they have it probably a little bit worse than I do. I think, I'm fortunate I get to play baseball, and obviously I get that taken away. But, these kids that, all high school, they're grinding through homework, and because I was doing that too. And you grind through the days, and, you're trying to impress, and you're trying to get good grades. And then, you can't wait to graduate, right? Graduation's a big deal. And then it gets kind of taken away with, not that they don't get to graduate, but, the graduation day, it's a big deal. And, I understand. I understand that graduation was a big deal when I was in high school. So to have that taken away would be pretty, if I put myself in their shoes, I would think how crazy that would be. And that'd be really tough, because you're just like, I went through all these years of high school. I've always wanted to wear the cap and the gown and all that stuff. And so, I obviously, I know how it feels to, obviously get something taken away and be on hold. But, I think a lot of people's adjustments are a lot tougher than mine. And so I try to just sympathize with them and let them know that, I'm thinking about them, and I'm not necessarily saying that, I know what you're going through, because I don't know what they're going through, but I sympathize with them. I feel bad for them. I'm thinking about them. That's just kind of the message I want them to know, is that I'm thinking about the people that are going through tough times.
One other aspect of it, and again, baseball is not alone in the endeavor, Nolan, but the work that people do, because you're in a position of being a celebrity a little bit and helping other people, many times not looking for the recognition just because the way your parents raised you and the culture of the clubhouse, if you will, that, hey, this is the right thing to do. You succeed in baseball because you're a teammate. And in this case, in this scenario, we're on a crazy team right now that we're all trying to look out for each other.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think, I'm not a big social media guy, or, I'm not really into all that. But, I just thought that, maybe a message can make them feel a little bit better. And that's kind of why I'm trying to be involved and trying to let them know that I'm thinking about them. But, we're all in the same boat here. We're all at home and doing whatever, and it's not easy. But I think we're gonna get through this. It seems like times are getting a little bit better, not a whole lot, but it's getting better, and that's a great sign. And I think hopefully things start to open up a little bit more when the time is right, and we can start hopefully getting back a little bit to the normal. It's going to take a while, but hopefully we can.
You and I, Nolan, have had conversations through your time with the ball club. You referenced back to me from when I was working in Cleveland, because I was around some great right-handed hitters like yourself and Albert Bell and Manny Ramirez. So I know you're a guy, being a student of the game, you like going back and looking at former players. Albert Pujols, another guy you watch a lot. When you're doing that, a little bit as a fan, obviously, but are you trying to pull something out of their approach, their style that you might be able to use?
Absolutely. I think there's different things, the first thing, it's funny because I remember I was talking to you about Albert Bell, when they played the strike year and he hit 50 homers, 50 doubles, right?
In 144 games. Right.
Yeah. So I was like, man, maybe after this quarantine, I could, if we come back, I could put up great numbers in only a little amount of games and this and that. And then I saw his numbers. I'm like, dude, 50 homers. I'm like, dude, I don't think I'm 50 homers, but yeah, it was crazy. But I love looking at old players, former players and players that are still playing back in the day. Just, I like to learn from them, because growing up, those are the players I admire. I know young kids admire players that are in the game now, but when I was a kid, I admired players in that generation. So I like to watch them and see what they did. And, I'm always comparing, at what age were they doing this and what age what was I doing at that age, and, I always try to see where I'm at, if I'm hanging with them. And, that's just something that I always do. But I do try to learn. I've been watching a lot of YouTube on Albert Pujols and Bell and May Ramirez. I mean, just a bunch of great hitters, and just trying to learn and just watch them work. And, they make it look so easy. So I just love it. But I'm always trying to find ways to get better and learn to grow in this game and ask questions. I try not to be just so caught up in like what I'm doing is fine. I'm just going to keep doing it. I still got to find ways to get better because, these pitchers are the best in the world, and there's a constant adjustments that have to be made.
Boy, that's a good segue. You're getting into this broadcast thing very well, Nolan, because we had a question from Katie Acosta in Denver. She wanted to know, for you, who's the toughest pitcher you faced?
Oh, I mean, there's just so many. It's hard to. I'll give him. DeGrom is probably the best pitcher in the game. He's so good. He's tough for me. There's so many. It's hard to really pinpoint one, but I'll go with DeGrom just for one. But there's too many of them. But DeGrom he's unbelievable.
Okay, and Eric Brown had another question, kind of referencing back to what we had talked about before. If there was a Hall of Fame player that Nolan Arenado could play with, we know it can't be a third baseman because then one of you guys would have to move. So if there was a Hall of Fame player you could have to play with, who would that be?
Wow, that's a good question. Maybe Greg Maddux. Love to play defense behind him, and he made it look sick. He dominated, man. So it'd be fun to watch him work. Obviously, Albert Pujols is going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's not one yet. So, but I think a good pitcher like that, Greg Maddux, somebody like that would be really cool. Ken Griffey Jr. would be amazing to watch. To see him work. What a great athlete. So those guys. Griffey would probably be one of them.
In that time frame, I know you talk about watching guys from the previous generation, and actually kind of nice that it overlapped for you, that when you were growing up in Southern California and Adrian Beltre was playing third base for the Dodgers, he was a great guy to emulate. What was it like for you to interact, not so much in spring training, but in actual regular season game action, to play against a guy you were modeling yourself after a little bit when you were a youngster?
Yeah, amazing. I love watching him with the Dodgers, and obviously when he moved to Seattle and then Texas, or Boston and Texas, and just love the way he played the game. He made it look very easy. He very athletic out there. He played every day, very durable. Those are things that I really loved about him. I can tell you a story in spring training. He found out that I was a huge fan of him, and he was really cool. And he got to third base, and he's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And we were just talking a little bit. It was really cool. And then after that spring training game, I go to my locker, and his glove was in my locker with the gold patch on it.
Wow.
And it was awesome, man. And I have it hanging up at my warehouse now and stuff like that. But it was really cool to him to do that, And I've gotten to talk to him a few times in the off season and got to see him. And he's just a really genuine person, and his family's really cool, and just a great guy, man. And just I can see why, there's so many you hear so many great things about him, players that played with him, and I've never have, but not when I've talked to him and got to know him a little bit, now you know why all those great things are said.
To divert a little bit, because we're talking about you connecting with the fans, because they're watching the players that they admire how they play and all of that. What about away from the game? A celebrity, a person that you had a chance to interact with, maybe that you hadn't figured you had the chance to, and it was like, wow, that's so and so. Is there anything like that for you?
Not too many celebrities. Kobe Bryant is probably one of my favorite athletes. And Kobe Bryant, him being from Southern California, he's my favorite athlete, obviously one of them of all time, including baseball. So when he passed, there hasn't been a day that's gone by where I haven't thought about Kobe Bryant. That's how much we love. My whole family loves him. We just love Kobe Bryant. We love the Lakers growing up. There hasn't been too many guys. It's mostly baseball based. I think, I haven't really been starstruck with other celebrities. So I've never really been caught up in that. The only people I get starstruck by are baseball players, just because I love the game. I remember meeting Derek Jeter and I couldn't believe it. I was like, dude, this is Derek Jeter, man. Like the captain. I cannot believe this is Derek Jeter. I was kind of thrown off when I met him. And but there's not I can't think of too many celebrities outside of baseball that have really like caught my eye besides Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, it was I related the story when he passed away recently, Hall of Famer Al Kaline, and it might have been your first or second year, and I told you to go up and talk to him in Detroit, and you came back later and said, man, he knew so much about me, and we were talking this and that, and those people make our game special.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I remember that. We went there in 14, and man, they murdered us, man. Miggy was raking. Victor Martinez was raking. JD Martinez was raking. They had a good team, man. I remember that.
Yeah. Let's go back to some more questions from our fans. And Keith Johnson in Fort Collins had a couple of questions. The first one, at least in the early scouting reports of Nolan Arenado, was they knew this young man is going to hit. We're not sure where he's going to play on defense. And now you're this multi Gold Glove winner. How did you make yourself into the defender that you are? Yeah,
well, I felt like when I was young, I always had good hands. I always had good hands. My arm was good. My feet were really bad. But I made up for it with my hands and my arm. But I think as you get older, you learn, I got a little quicker, I got stronger. I watched what I was eating. I started taking a little bit more pride in those things. And that was a big help because the Tulo was big on helping me with that. But I started doing that a little more. And to be honest with you, Jack, I think, sometimes when people label you as a player, that's kind of, it takes a while to get that label off of you, and I'm not saying I didn't deserve a certain label, but I think they're a little too quick to judge on that one, and I think young players, nowadays people are a little too quick to judge young players when you should probably just let him be, he has potential. I knew that I could play defense. I just knew I wasn't very quick. So I knew if I got a little quicker, I'd be okay. And third base, I don't need a range very, very far. I like to, but I don't, I got, shortstops are the ones that have the most of the range. But it was just a lot of work, a lot of agility, a lot of ground balls, different, I don't just do ground balls at me. I do backhands, forehands, you see me how I work out there. Yep. There's just things I'm just trying to keep up with. But I think sometimes when you get labeled, that label's hard to escape. And I had that label for a while. And sometimes I was a little confused by it, but I get part of the reason. I get part of it why I was labeled that guy.
Well, and that leads right into another. Steve Johnson from Longmont, Jacques, and Connor Poe from Maid. They wanted to know from your perspective for youngsters, 8, 10, 12 years old, some drills for them at their age, still developing, that they'll help them become better players defensively. Yeah.
I think a big thing is, I think it's just a lot of ground balls, work on the forehand, spin and throw, work on the backhand, do the Derek Jeter jump. There's a bunch of things you can do, just to be athletic and constantly work. I think challenge them, make them make that play that's basically at the shortstop, learn how to go around the ball. I think it's just constant work, and, I think the thing when I was young, and this is part of the reason why I was labeled, is that you just want to hit, right? You just want to hit. It. But people don't realize that you still got to play the other side of the ball. And I think young kids fall in that trap of like, I just want to hit, defense, whatever, I could figure it out. But, I think just taking pride in both, I think it's just going to make a huge difference in people's, baseball careers and what they want to do.
And right along with it, Keith Johnson also asked or pointed out, he said, how about the Lake Forest High School produces the two best defensive third basemen in the game right now, and you and Matt Chapman? Just coincidence, or is it in the water there, or what?
Yeah, right. No, man, we've always had good athletes. We've always had good players come through our area. Just scrappy ball players, ball players that, just play the game hard. And we've been taught a certain way to play the game, and defense was something that we've always been told to take pride in. When we were younger, it was like pitching and defense wins championships. It's kind of like we knew that at a young age, and that's kind of how it's always been, because our high school teams, we always had really good pitchers, and our defense was always solid, and our hitting was always okay. And, Chapty is obviously a special athlete, and he's only going to get better. I mean, it's just a matter of time until he really clicks into what he's got.
The quarantine part, the isolation part, because baseball is so much about connection, and it's fortunate that you have a teammate in your cousin Josh, and your brother being a guy who's played pro baseball as well. What have you done long distance, if you will, with some of your other teammates to stay connected?
Yeah, I've talked to some, I've talked to Story a lot, talked to a lot of guys, different ones. And, I've talked to former ball players, I've talked to Holiday all the time and trying to talk to him about the game and stuff like that. But, I just kind of checking in and seeing how guys are working, if we're getting after sending video to each other. And, I think the crazy thing about when this all ended is that, like, we were all starting to feel really good, right before the season. Like, I felt like my swing was really starting to click in spring, and I was ready to go. And then to be told to stop, I was like, oh man, I don't want to lose this feeling, but at the same time, you're going to lose it because you're not facing pitchers and whatever. But I've just been really focusing on the process, my cage work, really taking a lot of pride in that. And I feel good. I feel really good. But I know a lot of guys are working, and just kind of talking to them, checking in, making sure they're getting after it. And then, McMahon, I know McMahon's working hard. Charlie's always working. A lot of these young players are. Josh has been with me, and he's working really hard. And so, you just give a little call here and there, see if they're working and checking in, because, we're trying to win. So we need guys to get, we need guys to get after it, so.
In this unprecedented time for most, if not all of us, Nolan, because of the circumstances, there is the ability to have a little bit of reflection. And Anna Valdez, one of our season ticket holders, with that in mind, wanted to know, with the opportunity to think about it, what's Nolan Arenado grateful for?
Oh, wow. Well, that's a good question. Well, yeah, you definitely take a step back. You realize what you have. And that's why when I say, I don't have it as hard, is because, I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in playing baseball, and, I just signed a contract last year, and, a lot of things have been working out. And obviously this time like this, I'm not going to pout, and because I know people are going through harder times than I am. So I'm just thankful with what I have. My family's been healthy through this, and I know some people haven't. So I've been really fortunate for that. I'm really fortunate. I got good people around me. I'm very grateful for that. Good people that want me to be better, are pushing me and wanting me to grow in life and in baseball. And, I'm very fortunate with the people I have in my life. And I thank God for that, and I just continue to, not take for granted what I got. I think it's easy to take, times like this, kind of like, oh, poor me and poor that. But, there's no poor me, man. I'm grateful for what I have. This is difficult, but hey, they try to look at this. Hey, there's a reason for this. So, like that's basically what I have.
And to wrap things up then, Nolan, I have some sense, I've been thinking about it from my own perspective, even with all the time I've spent in the game. Have you thought about, or can you imagine your feeling? It'd be obviously great if fans were there, but even if they're not, for that first game, that first regular season game when baseball gets back at it, give us some sense of the emotion for you and for your teammates.
Yeah. Well, obviously it's going to be big, I think it's going to be like, finally we're here, we're back. I think the thing I miss the most is like my brothers on the team. I miss playing with them. I miss being with the guys. I think the thing what fans don't understand is that when you play with people on your team, every year is different. People are always leaving, or there's people coming back, and there's some people you'll never see again. And so you take pride in playing with those guys, and it means a lot playing with them, because you don't know when the last time you're going to play with some of them, and a lot of them are good people. So I miss competing with them, and obviously, it's going to be an amazing feeling. The best feeling in the world is going to be when we're able to play in front of fans. That's going to be the best feeling. Go back to Denver and see everyone there, and celebrating, happy to be back in the stands. I think that's going to be, I think, more of a bigger thing than just playing with no fans.
Well, I know the fans are eager to see number 28 in purple again out on the field, and I'm looking forward to describing more great plays from you. So,
thanks, Jack.
Thanks for spending the time with us. I know our season ticket holders really appreciate it.
No problem.
I remind them to Rockies.com/update. We'll keep you on top of the latest information, and we look forward to a 2020 season of Rockies baseball that we all hope is going to be special. So,
yeah.
Nolan, thanks for joining us, and everybody, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jack. Thanks, man. It's great seeing you, brother.
Likewise.
Later, man.